wonderful to talk to you on this beautiful winter day that Mike said was going to be a great day to go out and get these parts. And it's freezing cold out here, but it's amazing what you'll do when you want to build a car. So we're out in this haven of old car parts, trying to get enough stuff to put our car together. And so I'm going to leave it at that. You're back at Motion Unlimited Museum in our famous restoration shop. We've been here for a little over 50 years, so we've seen all the transitions of every kind of different deal, every trend you can imagine, but we're very much old school in this place. We don't have all the new technology, we don't have all the computers. Everything is done pretty much old school. And so I would like to talk to you today about what we've done so far with the Jewel. It's coming together slowly, but as you can see by the work that we've done on the car now, we're mainly doing all the front end. This is the biggest part of the car we need to get done. So we're mainly concentrating on this. The rest of the car is going to be a piece of cake. But all of this has to be sanded by hand. All these little pieces down here, just we don't have, and I don't even know if they make anything that will sand this stuff that's powered. But anyway, what we had to do is that Dick had cut this panel off the bottom here. And so I didn't even know it was gone until we went up to the salvage yard and found one of these panels. And I told Mike, I said, we need to get this panel because I think I know where it goes. And so we bought this bumper valance, what they call it. And I welded that back underneath there where it was supposed to be, and then welded a piece across the front, tied this all in one piece now. So that's all coming together the way it originally was on the Jewel. And come to find out, we found a picture of the Jewel, and sure enough, this is exactly what it looked like back when Jim and Dick had built this front end. This was pretty much the way they did it. So we got real lucky there. I have completed the headlights. They're done, and they fit real well. So all I need to do now this is just a rough coat of Bondo. It's not very thick. It's just a lot of it. The car had hail damage to go along with it. And so we're getting that all straightened out. We're going to give it one more good coat of Bondo, sand that all down nice and smooth, and then a finish coat. And once we get that done, we're ready for primer. So our next step is the sandblasting shop to get the body sandblasted, and then we'll go to work on the body on getting that done. And that's other than the quarter panels, which we're still having trouble finding quarter panels. So I'm throwing a shout out to all you people that are paying attention to this. I need a 51 or 52 Chevy two-door parts car. If you have one or know of one that I can purchase for parts, let me know. I would appreciate it very much. I need to get those for those quarters so I can get those quarters rebuilt. And if you can help us out, we'll make you famous. We'll put you on them. We'll put you on the card. So there you go. But the rest of it's going to be pretty easy. It's just a matter of straightening out the dents and getting in primer. My goal is to have this in primer by March, the end of March, but if I can get this finished up in the next 2 or 3 days, I can have this car in primer get it sandblasted. I should be able to have this car in primer within 2 or 3 weeks, which means that we should be in primer by the middle of February, which is going to be a great thing because then we can concentrate on motor, drivetrain, and getting all that stuff together. So we might I'm being real optimistic here that we might have this thing looking like a real car come the 1st of April. You'll notice that we've reinstalled the steering, so we've got steering now. And I've put the dash in, which was probably the toughest thing I've ever done for welding in my life. This dash was all one piece, this whole works. And so what I had to do was I had to cut this dash out of the old piece that we were using for parts far enough up inside in here that I could clamp this together and weld it from the back side. So I had to stick my head up underneath there to weld that all along this on the inside, which meant that my head was about this far away from my welder. I did get burned a few times, and I know I sound like I'm whining, but it was pretty difficult to do to be able to see, to get up in there to weld that up, but it's done. It looks good. It's solid.
Hi, I'm Tom Kurgan, and I'm inside the Jewel, and I'm a Council of the Cobblestone member for the last 20 years, and I also play around with upholstery, and I am going to do the upholstery in here. So I had talked with Jim a couple weeks before he passed about the car, and he called me and asked me if I would do the interior on the car, and I was obviously pretty excited about that. So we talked about what the interior was originally like, and he wanted it changed just a little bit because it had big red diamonds in it, one big diamond in each seat, and he wanted two instead. But that was about the only change. So Bill and I have been talking about the interior, and it's going to be the original white with red diamonds and pleats, and I'll be starting on that soon.
This probably isn't a big deal, but it is to me because we had to get this right. We found a bumper, a used bumper, and we put that on now. And the main reason for doing that was to make sure that these lines matched up. Find out if anything was missing, which it isn't. And so that's all lined up real well. We're gonna just scuff this down and put a nice coat of Bondo on there. And then we get over here, but this bumper's a little high on this side, so we'll have to move that down. And then of course we'll have to fix this dent over here and get this straightened up. And then we'll find some taillights and get that working again. I started working on the hood. It needs no modifications. The only thing I did is I welded in these holes across the front so we can shave this chrome off the front like Jim's was, make that nice and smooth. But I discovered in the meantime that the hood is slightly warped in many different spots, right across the back, big spot right there. That sort of thing is really difficult to fix because I don't like to put Bondo on these hoods. It's difficult to deal with. And then, you know, this flex is also tough to deal with. And so the other side, you can see it's got some pretty serious damage right here and across the front. That's fixable fairly good, but I'm just really concerned about these real low spots. And so I'm hoping to find a better hood. For those of you that don't have any idea what's going on here, I am restoring the Jewel, which was the car that Jim Neuzil, who was a very famous council car club member, was his dream car, and I'm restoring it back to the original Jewel. And this has just been a dream of mine to build a car like this, and now we have the opportunity to do so. And so this is a piece of history we're doing right now, and it's pretty exciting. And I want to give my heartfelt thanks to many people that have helped me. When I first saw this car sitting on the trailer when it was a derelict, my heart was broken. I just couldn't believe the car would end up like this. And then I found out they were going to cut it up and make a wall hanger out of the front fenders, but I just couldn't hardly believe it. And so it was through the work of Chris Schmidt and Mike Prios and several other people that they managed to work things around through weeks of negotiation that I could buy the car. And the really ironic part was that Jim and I had been talking back and forth about buying the car for weeks because I had to buy not only the car, but all the intellectual property went with it. I had to make sure that I had total rights to the name, the Jewel, to all the magazines and everything went with it. And we got that completed on a Monday, and Jim died on Friday. So he didn't get to see anything that we are doing here today. And at that time, I thought that this was just going to be one of them deals that I was going to do on my own, like I've done for my whole life. I've never really asked people for any help. I've always just gone ahead and done it. And Mike Prios and Chris Schmidt have helped so tremendously. Steve from Black Hills Masonry, what's Steve's last name?
Kroger.
Steve Kroger has sandblasted it and has really helped immensely. And Tom Gorgon is doing the upholstery for us, which is going to save me 6 weeks worth of work at least. And I am just overwhelmed that these people have come forward and taken the time to help me with this car that they really don't have an investment in other than a deep friendship for Jim. And I am also just humbled by the love that they had for Jim, that they were willing to do this. And so for those of you that are just watching this second video, we're going to do enough videos to finish, go all the way to the end of the car. I hope you enjoy watching it, but I want you to know that the world is full of a lot of really good people, and you're looking at a bunch of them that are working on this car. today as we speak.